All right, guys, this video is going to be titled, Jesus' Return Made Simple. Jesus returns the year 2033 AD. That is when he will reign. He will come back to this earth. He'll crush this tribulation period, crush the Antichrist, bind Satan up, throw him into hell. You want to know how I know he comes back in 2033 AD? It's very simple. We're almost with a 6,000 year period from when Jesus died. All right, Jesus died in 33 AD, 6,000 years, well, 2,000 years later is 2033 AD. How do we know this? Because 7 is the mark of completion. 7 is going to be the total term of this earth. Okay, so what that means is, just like creation was done in 7 days, just like completion 7 days, we talk about 7-year famines. The Bible has the number of 7 being completion, right? 7,000 year reign. Also, because we go through Revelations, you go through all the prophets, what they say is we have, 2,000 years from the birth of Adam, or we could say the creation week, up until the flood of Noah. From 2,000 years after that, we had the age of the law, the Old Testament period, which is 0 AD once Jesus was born, right? After death, after Christ. I'm sorry, before Christ, BC, after death, or after Christ, CE, Central Common Era period. You get what I'm saying? It's that thing. But, so now we have 4,000 years, okay? After that, we have the 2,000 year church age. All right, that's the New Testament era, right? Where our New Testament saints and prophets talk about, the second coming of Jesus. That's all they preach about, the second coming of Jesus. Where prior to that, all we talked about was the coming of the Messiah, the coming of Jesus, the coming of the Messiah. Okay? So preach about the coming of the Messiah, 2,000 years. Now we're talking about the second return, 2,000 years. Exactly 2,000 years later is 2033 AD from his death. Okay? That's how we got 2033 AD. But before 2033 AD happens, we're going to have a 7-year tribulation period. That's the rise of the Antichrist, right? People taking on the mark of the beast, people being tricked, right? First 3.5 years, he's great, this is awesome. We all want this new world order, we all want him, right? Then the next 3.5 years, Antichrist is revealed. We know his true agenda. Everyone has to take on the mark of the beast. And Jesus is going to crush that rebellion, crush him, okay? Bound Satan up, throw him into a pit, and he's going to reign with us for 1,000-year millennial kingdom, right? Where everyone has to confess that he is Lord and everyone know he is our Savior and our King. That is the return of Jesus made very simple. I want you to remember these verses. Go look them up yourselves. Revelation 20, 1 through 6, Ezekiel 4 through 6, 2 Peter 3, 8. Now that you have that timeline in your head, the time is now that you got to get right with the Lord. I know many people want to say, oh, I don't agree, right? I don't agree because no one knows the time or the hour or the days will come like a thief in the night. Well, guess what? We know the seasons. We know the times. We know the birth pains have gotten close. We know the earthquakes, famines, pandemics, right? Floods, tornadoes, hurricanes. They have ramped up and they have started destroying thousands and thousands of people on a frequent basis. We're just so used to it. We look at the news and say, oh, a couple thousand people died of tsunami. Oh, well, that's normal. Oh, pandemic, that's normal. Oh, earthquake, that's normal. And we just throw it over our head and we keep it moving, right? That is the signs of it, okay? If you think about it, we had World War I and II within the last 150 years. Well, probably more than that, less than 100 years ago, really. So think about this. We never had a world war ever in the history of the world until World War I and World War II, okay? Jerusalem was established for the Jews. They're keeping it, okay? That's still something to state. I know y'all say free Palestine, but guess what? Just gonna keep it a buck. It's gonna belong to them. And it's gonna belong to the Jews forever, okay? That's just what it is. Now, I'm telling you right now, get right with Jesus. Do your research. I'm gonna have more videos coming that's going to talk about this in a little bit more detail and break down each stage of, the tribulation period, breaking down the millennial kingdom, breaking down what happens after the millennial kingdom. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in more videos. But right now, just know, Jesus comes back in 2033 AD. Exactly 7 years before that is 2026. That's the rapture. Be ready because that's when the tribulation period starts. Christians, hope you're saved because we ain't got to be here for that. That's for the tribulation saints. Take care.